is Sam, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I've decided to go back to whispering for my usual ramble, just to change things up a little bit. I've done 2 soft-spoken videos and I thought it was time to go back to some whispering. Also, in my previous video, I think I got so caught up in my own conversation that I'm not entirely sure it was soft-spoken all the way through. So hopefully whispering will keep me in check. And before I forget, because I always do, it would be great if you could like this video and subscribe so we can keep building our community together. I'm still learning as we go along, but it's great to see that some people already appreciate my endless and long monologues. I like talking a lot, and today I'm going to do another ramble about something connected to what we've been talking about recently. We've talked about people coming to London, where I live. I've talked about why I came to London, and today I would like to talk about my family coming to visit me here in London. I am from the north of Italy originally. I've lived in London for 13.5 years, but all my family live back in Italy, and I am really, really lucky and grateful that we are very close emotionally as a family. I understand that is not the case for everyone, but I do consider myself lucky, because if you have a family like mine, it's a nice thing to experience. There's nothing wrong with families that don't really get on. It's just random people randomly put together. I mean, I am very close to my mum because we're basically the same. My brother is very different from both of us, so I can see how he struggles to fit in a little bit more, and how we struggle to find common ground with him every now and then. So even in a tight family, things happen. It's no one's fault. But I do like talking about the positivity of a family that get along. So I am the first one in the family who's ever really travelled. My brother is younger than me and he has done a bit of travelling himself, but I'm the one who started it, mainly because I studied languages in school. So through that I did a bit of travelling. I studied English, German, French and Spanish, and through that I managed to travel a little bit around Europe. I used to be an amateur dancer and we did competitions around Europe, so even that helped me a little bit. But obviously the big move was to come to London. I've been here a long time, but I have to say my family haven't visited me as often as they could have, or as often as other families may do, primarily because we are not used to the idea of travelling. Also, my mum is a teacher. She can't take any time off. I mean, she's off only when schools are off, and that's when I usually go back home. So for Christmas, I try to go at least 3 times a year if I can. Christmas, summer, sometimes between Christmas and the summer. This year I haven't been able to, but I'm going to take my mum to Malta at the end of April next week for an international fireworks competition, because we both like fireworks, so that would be nice. one of my aunts and two family friends came in 2012 for the first time. I moved here in 2010, and they came to my graduation. I studied screen acting for 2 years. It wasn't a university, but it was a full-time course, and we had a sort of graduation, and they came to visit me. Now, it was a bit weird for me to have them here, I have to say, because those first 2 years I was really coming out of my shell after spending 18 years in Italy, and I was so caught up with the graduation and with work and everything that, looking back, I don't think I made the most of it at all, and I feel really guilty and really bad because, I don't know, I just feel like I didn't give them much of myself. But I think it was a new experience for everyone, and we all understood what was happening, and we all understood that nothing was meant with any kind of malice. My mum has been here 3 times more. Once, a couple of years after graduation, another one of my aunts was coming here with her family for the weekend, for a long weekend, and I knew that. But, well, the plan was for them to come to my workplace. I used to be a waiter, so we could take it from there. That was a Friday night, I think. But while I was working, out of the blue, my mum and my brother turned up, and then my aunt. So they surprised me because they came together. I had no idea that was going to happen, and I did exactly what they do in the films. I froze. I was lost for words. I was also working. I was really pleased. I mean, actually, in that very moment, I wasn't pleased because I wasn't anything. I was so gobsmacked and shocked that I felt nothing. But then it hit me a bit later on that something good was happening. Luckily, I had no plans for the weekend because I was planning to be with my aunt. I had nothing else planned, so I could just be with my aunt and then also with my mum and my brother. Then I think they stayed 1 day longer than my aunt, so we spent quite a bit of time, just the 3 of us, and that was really, really nice. And around 2017, my mum came on her own for a couple of days over Christmas. Now, my mum, before coming to London, she had never taken a plane. She doesn't come from a family where travelling is an option. Flying was never an option. So she came on her own, and she doesn't speak a word of English, so she was terrified. But luckily, the plan was for her to come alone from Bologna in the north of Italy, where I'm from, to here. Then we would spend a couple of days here in London, exploring the Christmas spirit, and then we would fly back home together, so I could then spend Christmas there. So she only had to do 1 leg of the trip on her own. It was really nice. I took her to see everything that we have in terms of Christmas. We have a winter wonderland here. They turn Hyde Park into a huge Christmas market. It's brilliant. It's one of the biggest attractions here for Christmas. So we had a good immersion into all of that. And then we went back home to Bologna. Then the big event was 2 years ago when we've arranged it so that both my mum and my brother would come here for the summer. My brother came for a weekend because he had to work. They came together, and then my mum stayed for another 10 days here with me, and then we flew back home together so I could be there for the summer for a while. it was great. I took them to different places, to different areas and parts of England. We went to Oxford together with my brother. Then we went to Bath. Me and my mum were supposed to go to York, which is further up north, but because of a mistake that I made with the trains, we got stuck in Bath and couldn't come back to London to then take the train to York, so we went to Bristol instead, which was still nice but not quite as nice as York. And then, well, we went back home, and the great thing about that holiday was that I am a singing drag queen. That's my full-time job, and my mum and my brother knew about it. They'd seen pictures, they'd seen videos. I talk about it constantly, but they'd never seen me live. So while they were both here, I made it so that all the dates would coincide with my shows. And on the Saturday they were both here, I took them to my drag home so they could see what I do. I sing live and then I interact with the audience. That was a very big thing because my brother is modern, he's young, and he's okay with me being gay, and he's okay with me being a drag queen, but he'd never physically seen what I actually do. For my mum, it's a little bit of a different story. My mum comes from a very, very, very conservative family where these things are not an option. I mean, being a drag queen is extreme, I know, in that world, but even being gay is not on the cards. My mum knows that I'm gay, and she accepts it the best that she can. She's very welcoming, and although she doesn't understand it fully, she still supports me, which is all I can ask for. And it's one thing to be gay, it's another one to be a drag queen as well, so that's an extra little push that I've given her almost over the edge. But she's been very supportive. Again, she doesn't quite understand it, but especially given her upbringing and the reality that she was born into, the fact that she supports me the best that she can is more than I can ask for. So I'm very happy with that, and I have nothing to complain about. And I was a bit worried about the show because, when I was there with my mum and my brother watching me, I loved the idea of it, but then when it came down to it, I was a bit nervous. But it was brilliant. My mum kept clapping along, she kept dancing along. I got her up on stage because she likes dancing, and she dragged my brother up on stage. Now, as accepting as my brother is of my career choices, he did not like that, bless him. But it was a beautiful moment, and I'm glad that we shared that in my drag home, so that's where I feel the most comfortable. My mum does not speak a word of English. She did not understand what was happening, but she could see that people were happy, they were smiling. She could hear that I could sing, so she could see the positivity of it, even though she didn't know what was going on. That was really good. And then after my brother left, I purposely did not cancel any of my other shows because I wanted my mum to keep coming with me. That was the last time that she came, and then my brother came last year on his own for a long weekend, for just a normal weekend, because for my 30th my friends gave me 2 tickets to go and see the Harry Potter studios here in London, and both me and my brother are big fans, so we went together. He flew in on a Friday night, I think, and then he went back on a Sunday, and it was glorious, absolutely glorious. If you're a Harry Potter fan, must go. It's extremely expensive, and I only went because my friends paid for it, basically. But it's definitely worth it. Unfortunately for my brother, every time he comes, because he's been here, even with his girlfriend, before, every time he comes here, there is always something wrong with the planes. That time, he was supposed to go back home mid-afternoon on a Sunday, but only when he got to the airport did he find out that his flight had been delayed by 7 hours. So he got stuck there for 7 hours, bless him. But hey, now, what I would like to mainly talk about is also why they don't come very often. I mean, my brother, there is nothing to read into it. He's busy, he has other plans. We don't really come from money, so even travelling to London, takes its toll on our wallets, so we need to be careful. My mum, on the other hand, has a bit of a deeper reason for not particularly liking coming here. It has nothing to do with London as a city. She doesn't particularly like seeing me fully settled in this reality. And as weird and selfish as it sounds, I completely understand her, and I would probably be the same, so let me explain it a little bit better. I think the reason why she doesn't like that is that we are so close that she doesn't want to see that. So I think that that's the reason why she doesn't come. It's not that we're not close, maybe we are too close for her to be able to endure that. From very early on, when I was a child, I always wanted to come to London and to speak English. I know it sounds weird, so my mum always knew that that was what all of that would lead to. But as a mother, she finds it really hard to understand, not even to accept, but first of all to understand why I am here. Because I'm not just here for work, just to make a bit of money and then go back home. I am here because I really feel like I belong here. And as a mother, she doesn't really understand why her son, who was born in a completely different reality, in an Italian reality, speaking Italian, would feel fully at home, not just somewhere else, but in a different country, with a different culture, with a different language. And I completely understand that. I can understand the struggle that she has to face every day. She doesn't take it personally, she doesn't take it as a failure as a mother, because, I mean, we are close, so she must have done something right. It has nothing to do with her, it has nothing to do with me, it's just who I am and what I want for whatever reason. So, she's happy for me, but she's not happy for herself, knowing that her child is so happy in a completely different reality that she doesn't know, that she never taught me. She never talked to me about it because she doesn't know it. So I can see that. But she is very happy for me. She's very supportive. She's the one who actually pushed me to come here when it really came down to it. But yes, she prefers having me back home where I belong, originally at least. And obviously when she came this last time 2 years ago, she also saw me as a drag queen, and not only that, she was in my room while I was getting ready, so she physically watched me transition from a man to a woman. And as open-minded as, we keep telling the world to be, obviously it's a shocking process, even for me, just when I look at myself going from man to woman. But especially for a mother, seeing her son doing that, it's obviously shocking, and there is nothing wrong with being shocked or a bit confused or interested and intrigued. What I find wrong is that how you decide to react to it and deal with it, that makes you a good or a bad person. But you can't help being confused. I mean, when I see a drag queen, I am curious at the very least, even though it's my own job. So there is nothing wrong with being a bit lost there. So that must have been very tough to digest. It must have been a lot to take in. But again, she really went above and beyond what I was expecting. So that's great. So yes, I just wanted to share this little part of my life, and I would like to know if this experience relates to you. Maybe not the drag queen part, but if you are someone who has moved away from your family, let me know what kind of relationship you have with them. If you try to meet, regularly, if you're very happy to be far away from each other, and how often your family come to see you, and if you think at least that they experience the same sort of emotional discomfort that my mum feels when she sees me so happy and settled in a reality that objectively and technically does not belong to me. And if you are someone who has their family members away, also let me know how you feel about that. And on that note, I will let you go, also because we have children shouting. I hope you can't hear it, but I can. So I'll take that as my cue to go, and I will see you very soon with another video.